Uh, hey, welcome to the another tutorial where I will show how I created the stylized flower. This is the texture look, and you can check the renders of the final flower in my ArtStation page. And I'm reading the feedback, and I decided to break down this tutorial into small pieces, into small parts. And I think the first part will be the height map for the leaf. The second part will be the height map for the flower. And last, I think I will show how I created the base color for the final look. So let's start from the leaf. I just need to switch off other stuff that I wouldn't use here for now. So, by the way, yeah, I'm using here the opacity output. And yeah, so we have the leaf. Again, it's stylized, but still you can see that it is having small interesting details, and I will show how I created those details in Substance Designer. So let's start again from the leaf shape. um, it's a good way to look beforehand the references. It does not matter, as I said before, do you create the realistic leaf or a fantasy stylized leaf. You need to understand the basic structure of the leaf, and if you will just break down it into small parts from what is leaf is basically consisting, you will see that this is quite difficult at the beginning looking shape. You can just break down it into small ones, and it's not too difficult to create. So let's start from the main silhouette, and here I'm using the shape node with the disk pattern with those settings, and I'm using directional warp again. I'm calling like the modeling shape in Substance Designer and using the model directional warp with the like different shapes. In this case I'm using polygon 2 with those parameters. You can just model anything, any organic shape you want in Substance Designer. So I'm here using polygon 2 as the intensity input and shape as the primary input. So the idea is, you can see in this polygon 2 I have like the hard edge in the middle. That's why with this 90 degrees you see in the middle like the middle line is warping the overall shape up, and as soon as I have here more like the softish gradients, those parts are just leaving more like curved here. And I really quickly have the shape, the top shape of the leaf, and yeah, it's quite looking nice. Now I need like to create the bottom part. Here I'm having like the again shape as the primitive. For the directional warp I'm using the polygon 2. Again, you can see that in the middle there is like a white spot, and it is just with the same 90 degrees is creating like more like a ball that is curved on the bottom. Really nice shape. I really like it. Um, yeah, it's like the bottom part of the leaf, sexy looking. and now I'm just transform it a little bit to the down and combine those using blend node with blending mode at liner at dodge. So as soon as I'm creating really like simple stylized leaf, I'm really happy with this shape, and I think I do not need like to create um, the middle part, I think, because it's more like for other styles of leaves or more realistic. For now I'm quite happy how it's looking from the distance. For example, it's bold, and it has the basic shape. Yeah, so I'm happy with it. uh, okay, let's continue with the silhouette. Here we can see cracks that are coming from the top, and for the cracks I'm using cells 4. It's really nice with those angle shapes, so angle pattern. With directional warp, using gradient liner 1 as the intensity, I'm just moving everything down in minus 90 degrees, because I want like two cracks are coming from the top. You can see here just coming from the top and stop. Um, yeah, and I blur it a little bit and blend it with the gradient liner 1, flip it vertically and blend it with multiply. Yeah, I'm doing it because I want to like create cuts on the top part and not on the bottom. You can see here the effect. Next step is blur high quality grayscale. The next one is histogram scan, just to reinforce the hard line. And yeah, now we are going to modeling the shape itself. So basically here we just finished with the outline, and here now we are continue to work with the shape, looking with the height information. So again, in leaf I need to create the middle line using gradient liner 3, transform it in 90 degrees and just blend it with the subtract from my original shape, and I'm getting this curvature in the middle. Next step, I'm adding those spikes. You can see here, just breaking a little bit the standard silhouette of the leaf. Those spikes are interesting. I will show you how I created those. And if you just explore the leaf, you can see that those spikes are happening where the veins are just going. Yeah, here you can see, maybe the lighting is not good, but yeah, you can see those are just. And if you just inspect the real world leaf, you will see those interesting small spikes, small interesting details are happening, and they are just adding like the life into your organic shape. Okay, how I created those? I have the part veins here. Again, I'm starting from the shape. It's just simple vertical line. Skew it a little bit. You can see from the center a small really mount to the right, and mirror it. It's a pretty nice workflow, as like the symmetry modifier in 3ds Max, for example. I'm just creating one side and mirroring it, and I'm getting like the final shape. It's like the final vein. You see the bottom part is wide, the top part is short. So yeah, next step is blur high quality grayscale. The next step is curve node. Again, you can look into other tutorials where I'm using curve node. So yeah, check it. I'm using curve node a lot. It's really useful node. So yeah. Um, the next step is transformation to D, and I transform it into 45 degrees and moved a little bit down. Mirror it again, so I have now those veins symmetry in symmetry, sorry. The next step again, blur high quality grayscale, and now I'm adding another vein that is coming from here. Basically it's like the same workflow, the same shape, but a little bit shorter and wider. Skew it, mirror it, blur it, curve it, transform it to the bottom, and blend it with the max lighten. And the result is, we can check, you can see OpenGL 3. Yeah, it's really smooth, really soft looking. Directional warp, so I'm warping, I'm creating like this curvature effect. For the directional warp I'm using minus 90 degrees with the shape paraboloid. It's just adding me this cool softish shape deformation, and transform it a little bit up. So I created this primitive vein, but you can see on the leaf it's really different from it. Yeah, it's different in like the length, the width, the rotation, the position. That's why I'm talking that when you just break down into small pieces something, basically you can just start from the primitive, and afterwards you can just style it as soon as we have like the lot of tile generators nodes in Substance Designer, and just play with the scales, the angle, the width, the length, and other stuff, and eventually you will get this complex organic look that's basically present in real life. So yeah, now we are using the tile sampler here, and as the pattern input, I'm here using pattern input, my vein. I'm just tile it and rotated it to the right, and tile it 10 times vertically. Here you can see I added the different like settings. It's nothing fancy, just play it with the width, with the height of each vein to just break down the repetitive look. The next step is skewing it, and skewing it again, because you can see the silhouette of the leaf is basically dictating the position and the flow of the veins, or sorry, I think the veins are dictating the silhouette. Yeah, it will be more like by the nature. And of course I'm using like the mirror again as the symmetry. I'm just creating here like the Christmas tree, almost like, yeah, more or less. Yeah, cool. So here you see the difference here and here. I just moved the left part to just break this symmetry completely look. Moved the left part a little bit to the down, and how I did it, I was using again directional warp. As the intensity, I'm using this gradient. So I'm starting from the shape square, move it in half to the left, blend it with multiply with gradient liner 1, and moved it to the bottom. Yeah, so you can see the offset is happening. The next step, directional warp, and I'm using like the middle line that is happening here, and you can see that this is more like angular looking, more like straightforward, not like organic. and here is more like softish, more like curved, how you can see in real nature. And I blur here the my middle vein, you see it. I blur it, and you can play with the blur intensity, and you will get a different result. Just yeah, just curved it a little bit. Mm, yeah, this is like the blur, and afterwards curve node, and it is going to the blend node with blending with the shape. But we will look into it a little bit in a little bit of time. And as you remember, we were talking about those spikes, and as soon as we have the veins, we modeled the veins. Now we could use those shapes interdirectional warp as the intensity, um, but blur it a little bit. And here you can see I at the first step I blur it, so I blur it and blend it with multiply just to remove unnecessary bottom part and top part, because I don't want to those spikes happening into the onto the whole silhouette. I just wanted those spikes are happening onto the top part of the leaf. That's why I've just removed unnecessary veins that I don't want to use in this warping. Yeah, so this is coming into the intensity as the intensity input into the directional warp, and I got this result. Blur it, again curve it, and here I'm adding small veins. You can see those small interesting veins. And for the small veins I was using cells 3. It's basically quite more or less what I wanted, but you can see that cells 3 are too like tiled, too repetitive, and in real life, if you will inspect the leaf, you wouldn't see those veins are coming from this part to this part, divided by bigger veins. So basically, you can see here, it just go here, stop, nothing is happening here, for example. No, those are like in different position. Here it's happening, but not everywhere. For example, here it's stop, and just here, for example, or or here. Yeah, you can see it's just breaking down. And how we can create this effect? Um, in basically in my tutorials I already showed, and it's like the common way how you create it. Those you just using different values in grayscale, and you just warping using this grayscale your pattern, and it will just break down the repetitive look. Um, and with the latest update of Substance Painter, now we have a flat fill node. It's a really awesome node. It's here, you can see. Just sorry, it's here. I will explain a little bit in a second what is happening here, but I really recommend you to go to the algorithmic latest tutorials and just look the tutorial about the flat fill node, how you can use it in your workflow, how you can apply it. It's really useful, and it's really a time saver. It's has its own limitations, but it's better than nothing, because before it was really hard to achieve the effect that I will describe now. So the idea is to separate this part from this part and from this part, and etc. So we need like to grayscale value here is different from here and here. For this we will use the flat fill. So basically how the flat fill is working: you need to input it the edges of anything you are creating. tiles, floors, it doesn't matter. It is just working with the hard edges, hard tiled edges. So we need like to create this pattern of edges. Let's start from the veins. Um, so we already created those. I'm just inverting those veins here and histogram scan it. Now I need like to take the middle vein, big one, histogram scan it with the same parameters as here you can see, and blended it with the multiply. So yeah, now we have. But in this case the flat fill wouldn't work, and I will show you. Now why? Because we don't have the outline. So basically flat fill is working when the edges are crossing each other, and for now here is nothing is crossing. That's why this part is not different from this part. The small gradation is happening, but it's not what we want. And for what we want, we need like to add the last edge. It's like the silhouette, and I'm creating this silhouette using the edge detect node with those parameters from the main silhouette of my leaf here. And now the flat fill will work. Wow. So here we have like this structure is separate from this structure and from this structure. Basically what we need. After I'm using the flat fill to the random grayscale, and just ignore the outside look. Yeah, it's completely broken, but it's not affecting our work, because what we wanted to achieve we actually achieved here, and you can see the difference of the grayscale. You see, it's awesome. It's so crazy time saver. And as you can see, we are created basically from the like modeled shape before. So it's really amazing. Again, check the flat fill node in a logarithmic website. Just look at it's crazy. Okay, next step. You can see it's quite difficult to see, but yeah, you can see the result is happening here. Those veins are just disappearing here. They are stop. Here stop. But here in small black veins, we see in directional warp small artifacts. That's why I'm using the next step is blend node. Here the blending mode is the divide. Yeah, so this is like the input, and this is the um, our veins, and just splitting, dividing each other, and I'm just removing those artifacts. Awesome. Um, Here again I'm coming back to add the veins effect onto the leaf. I'm just inverting it, leveling it, and you can see it's how it's looking. The effect is really subtle, and I'm adding with the blend node onto the top shape with really small details with min darken. And here you can see those small veins are happening. Cool. Actually, I decided to add this effect. It's you can see it's more like stylized. It's not too realistic. Basically, you can add so much details into it. Just break down those big veins into more smaller veins. How the real leaf is looking. But it's not for the stylized. It will be over complicated looking. So that's why I'm not like achieving this idea here. I'm just stopped and move next with the bigger veins. Okay, so we have small ones. We need like to add previously created the bigger ones. Again, I'm using blend node with overlay with the opacity, and I'm playing with the levels with the so the combination of the levels and the blend node, you can achieve how harsh or how soft these shapes are blending to each other. Again, I'm not recommending you to use the max min without like tuning it, because it will be looking too artificial, and you need like to balance the shapes, how they are looking, the depth overall with the final look. So that's why I recommend you to use levels and just play around how the blending shape is coming onto the main shape. Okay, the next step again is adding the middle part. So here I'm just adding second pass of veins. Here I'm adding the last pass of the middle vein. Um, yeah, again it's like using like the straight vertical line that is coming from here, and again nothing crazy. The same absolutely workflow as for the other veins. I'm just transform it a little bit up, and yeah. And we got basically the shape of the leaf, but it's more like looking too procedural. It's not. We need like to add final touches to bring the life into it. And for it, we are using the directional warp. Sorry. Um, yeah. So I'm using the directional warp, and I need like to curve it a little bit, especially the middle vein. So it's adding a little bit the realism to the leaf. Again, I'm using shape, bell, transform it to the right, transform it to the left in the bottom, and I got with the outliner blend this kind of shape. Why I have this shape, I will show you now. In directional warp, you can see that bigger ball from the right will move everything to the left, and the ball to the into the bottom is moving a little bit to the right. And with the directional warp I'm getting this curvature, but I'm not like overall how it's looking. It's squeezed, it's stretched vertically. That's why I'm using directional warp, and for the intensity input I'm using again shape, transform it to the left, mirror it, and moved up. So those two big balls, they are just moved everything up. That's cool, yeah. That's cool. Moved everything to the up, and yeah, we have this shape. Awesome. And the last step is outer levels. So I'm just bringing all the values to the maximum, and yeah, so it's like the final result of the height map for the leaf. And I think I will stop here. As I said before, I'm planning to do like several parts of this breakdown, and it is basically is coming from you guys. I'm reading your feedback, and as I understood, is better to create smaller tutorials because like hour more like more than 1 hour. I agree with you. It's quite hard to like follow, and just let me know in the comments section. Do you like this method more? Um, we will see how it will work. Maybe it's more comfortable to do tutorials like this. So in next part I will discuss how I created the height map for the flower. Uh, I will just basically show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, so I'm talking about this flower. Um, yeah, so stay tuned, and I will see you in the second part of the tutorial. Thanks for your time. Thanks for all subscribers. I really appreciate uh, that you subscribed to my channel, and it's like the best motivation for me to continue to do those tutorials. I see that the information is helpful, and I'm happy to create those for you guys. So thanks a lot, and see you in the next part. Bye bye, have a nice day.